Informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
The third world is
And it's showtime, it's business time. Namaste to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Monday edition of the Lall Show on this, your radio with a difference. It is Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM. We bless your airwaves with nothing but the truth every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 19 hours 20. And of course, this evening, Mr. Lall will make his presentation. We'll take your calls after. Those telephone numbers are 226-7453, 226-7454, and 622-2222. Without further ado, it's a packed program this evening, and we'll hand you over to the man of the moment. Namaste to you, sir. Trust that you had a good
Namaste,
week.
Josh. Guys, namaste. Do we have any poor politicians in this country?
No.
Wow, no.
Nothing worse.
All are rich?
Stinking rich.
Wow. I read a few minutes ago, a guy says too many of today's children have straight teeth and crooked morals.
Yes.
You know, it's a good thing I got crooked teeth. I got the reverse. And then his partner says, show me a man that gets rich by being a politician, and I'll show you a crook. Man, don't tell me it's a crook we have in this country, man, Josh. Huh?
Seems like it.
You really believe it's a crook we have? If all these politicians are rich, wait, are they crooks? Man, Bernard, don't know me that, man. Right? It's Monday. I had a beautiful weekend, and I trust that you guys have a wonderful weekend too. You know, my water, where I live in Nandi Park, coming red for the last week.
Wow.
GWI can give no answer whatsoever for that. And I have been told that the contractor who supplied the manganese to GWI living not far from me. So he water got to be coming in the same color too. I want to believe that the order for filtering water came without specifications. So maybe we are stuck for quite a while into the future without clear water, Mr. Josh. You hear me? So we wouldn't get clean water. I don't know when GWI can give us clean water. But I did do 2 TikTok. If you guys don't remember, I'm doing TikToks now. TikTok. And some I'm tickling and some I'm talking. I'm going to share 2 quick stories with you guys that I did TikToks on this afternoon. We have, yesterday, Sheikh Baksh went with some men to Berbice looking for land to drill another water well to help serve some 10,000 residents from Albion to number 1 village. He said the well at Firish is close to 50 years old and showing signs of deterioration. The well presently producing murky water. After them get blackout and it start back, yes, the murky water is kicking and the residents just can't use it. He is now seeking money from the government for a new well to begin drilling as early as this month. I had to laugh. You know why I had to laugh, Bernard? Because $45 million sitting in a man's hand for chemicals to filter the water, and he's still looking for money to drill this well, forgive 10,000 residents pure water, safe water for them to use. Bernard, this can shock Guyana. I want to tell you all something that you never heard before. These leaders from both governments have been spending on projects that would bust your heart, vessels, when you hear some of the prices. When you hear they drill a well, uncle and auntie, and they tell you it's 40 and $70 million, uncle and auntie, guess how much is really the cost for one of them well? $2 and $3 million. You didn't hear what I said, man.
Yes, because people drill it.
$2 and $3 million for drill a well,
You have a well in the back.
300 feet down.
Yep.
In some places it's $1 million. So I'll be waiting to see how much these wells will be costing Guyana.
Maybe like some.
Sheikh Baksh didn't put a price. But I'll telling you guys. I remember I did a little quick search today, and in 2016, when Van West Charles took over, he fixed up and make up back about 15 well in Diamond and spent over $200 million to repair and fix them up. And then he did 2 well, he put in 2 well to service only 5,000 residents in Diamond. And you want to hear how much was the price? $280 million. That's $140 million each, uncle and auntie. This is Guyana. This is beautiful Guyana. This is how they're spending your money. This is why the public servants, the police, teachers, and nurses can't get no salary increase. Because 3-4 wells and them 7% gone, disappear. One little building, them a bill all over the place. If you take that money, you can drill water well in every village across this country. Yeah, man. I'd never forget to build the one in the 6th Street Diamond for $70 million. Those things used to eat my soul. Yesterday, the Kaieteur News carried another story. After reading it, my lungs fell out my mouth, just like how my heart jumped out my foot. Man, y'all gotta see it for believe it. It is a small flat building looking like this, like them same low income houses the government building and selling for $4 and $5 million. That's what it looks like. But the minister said it's an office for Nari in Region 8. Paramakatai neighborhood, Region 8. One little flat house. A little flat house, less than 2 bedroom. Looking at the photo, it reminded me of the NIS flat building them renovated 79 Village Quarantine for $69 million. And Ashley Singh they say, oh, it has air condition and seating capacity. When you check the seating capacity, it's 2 pieces of wood bench covered with black leatherette. That's the seating capacity they're talking about. And 2 doors down, I always remember the story, a whole 2-story building was selling for $25 million. The government spent $69 million for renovate a flat building, the NIS building. They all always know about it, man. Uncle and auntie, yes, they lock out me and Adam for the gate from going in. Because they don't want me to go take a picture what the thing look like. After now, we never go back to see what it look like. It's shameful They had no shame. Barajagde was president. And Raja Lunchan was the man who gave me the document. I never forget that thing, man. And Jagde ended up costing up Lunchan. Who tell you to give Glenn Lall that document? The roof alone. The roof alone, Josh, for the NIS building, they said was $7 million.
Wow.
At the time, $7 million could have built the whole building.
Exactly.
Put it on the goal and up
Fully
the
furnished.
You know, but uncle, what catch my eyes and really messed up my mind yesterday when I read the Paramakatai building, they built there, was the minister words. How he described this project. And I want to quote him in his own words for you guys. These are the kinds of investments that the PPP government is making. We are not only making investments in urban areas and on the coast, large investments are being made in hinterland areas to serve the communities and develop the agriculture sector. We have also commissioned a brand new ATV so that our extension officers in these areas can serve the communities better. This shows the government's commitment to developing the agriculture sector in all parts of the country. Agriculture is playing a leading role now in our country, and as a government, we are making a lot of funds available to develop this very critical sector. That description by the Minister of Agriculture on this project must aggravate the soul, uncle. You hear those words?
Yep.
It aggravates the soul. When this minister can talk about the construction of a fence, security hut, installation of perimeter lightings and utilities work, as well as furnishing, man, you'd want to believe with that money them spend on a Nari office, it gotta be better than Joe Biden office, the President of the United States, with that kind of description. Or even better than the minister office. The words these chaps using to describe these projects, you would think that is the White House they're constructing or the Marriott Hotel. You understand? Yeah, man. Y'all want to hear this?
Yes.
Huh? Would you believe that this Nari agency was responsible for them plant seeds and seedlings and animals breeding does get more money from the government than the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency?
Wow.
Yes, Miss Harris.
Shocking.
Yeah, man. The same EPA will have to look out for our interests and especially to monitor what is going on with our environment, with our health, and our resources. The same EPA has to go out there on the oil rigs to check and see what is happening with our oil if there's a spill. And they don't even have a canoe. What do you call it, man? A blackhead canoe? They don't even have a canoe, uncle, to get out there, much less to do their work. I see today they announced, yesterday we carried a story how the fishermen them complain about oil spills out there. And they announced they're going and investigate. I don't know how they're going to meet out there to investigate. The EPA. So the oil floating, according to some fishermen, all out in the Atlantic Ocean. But EPA can't go check that. They don't have money. The government is not giving them money to go do that type of work.
The handicap.
Yeah, man. They handicap them. Maybe they can't huff the money there, but they can huff it in these type of projects where they go and have it.
You give him basket to fetch water.
All right, that's a little 2-3 program. I just want to give you all a heads up. Let's get to tonight's main topic. We at the Kaieteur News did a survey of 35 oil-producing countries,
Yes, let's get him.
in which almost all of them received from 12.5% royalty up to 25% and more. Royalty, according to history, was set by the Queen of England when they owned half the world 100, 200 years ago. According to that survey, Uncle, there is no country on earth that found oil and has ever gotten a contract like what this country called Guyana. Let me repeat, man. No country that find oil has ever gotten a contract like what this country called Guyana has settled for. None. I mean, none of these contracts have less than 2% royalty, Uncle. I have asked the head of the energy department, a man named Mark Bino, Exxon countryman ninja, Alistair Rutledge, and several other oil experts in the world to just point the Kaieteur News to any country that has a similar or worse contract than Guyana. They have all looked at me, shake or dung their heads. Billions of Africans in dire poverty because of bad oil. Bad oil contracts, bad timber and mineral contracts that their leaders sign on to, Uncle. Wait, y'all think we would allow you guys to get away with this? Huh? Politicians, I really believe that this nation will sit back with one of the worst contracts on earth for the last 200 years and think y'all going to get away with it? Not at all. Not under my dead body. This can pass.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Too many of our citizens in this land already living in misery and extreme poverty. And that should have never happened.
Yes, my brother. Speak here.
Not with the kind of wealth this country is blessed with. No way. We will take back what is rightfully ours from every one of them in our back dam and in our waters.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I did say Friday, I have to tell you a special story today. So here it is. Sit back, relax, and just enjoy the flight with me tonight. We are going to New York tonight, to the United States, to have a chat with a special friend. A special friend there. You want to hear his name? His name is Joseph Biden, the President of the United States.
Yep.
You know why we're going to chat with him, Miss Harris? Because he suddenly get a wake-up call and realize that the American people who elected him to serve is being shortchanged for quite a while by the oil people. Yeah, man, he realized that. But our leaders does not have that kind of vision. Matter of fact, our leaders is seeing the opposite to Joe Biden. They will go to America and tell us from there that we will be shortchanged and that we would have to live with that for quite a while into the future. That's what they're telling us. with a few penny we are getting from the oil companies. Joseph Biden, the President of the United States, uncle, I like him. He means well. He's a better human being for all mankind than all of them here. Here, if you understand what I'm talking about, Guyana. Let me make it clear. He's far away much better human being than a man named Donald Trump. And that's my view.
Hell yeah, you're right.
Okay, that's my view. No cost me for that. It's how I feel about the man. I have known him for quite a while too. Hear what this man said. He is ready to increase royalties on his oil and gas from the oil companies. Man, you hear what I said there, man? Joseph Biden is ready to increase royalties on his oil and gas from the oil companies.
They're already getting 67%.
Uncle, when I heard that, I wanted to drop off the map. Increase royalties for ExxonMobil and the oil companies? Man, that is class. That's a man with a vision.
Exactly.
Joe Biden says, uncle, the current arrangements with oil companies shortchanges the American citizens. You want me to repeat the thing, man?
Yes, please.
Mr. Joe Biden says the current arrangements with oil companies, including ExxonMobil, shortchanges the American citizens.
And they're already getting 67%.
You hear me? May come to that. The U.S., uncle, is getting from 12.5% up to 18.75% royalties from oil companies. And the president himself is now saying that amount of royalties is not enough, and deem that as robbing the country and its people. What would you say about Guyana, man? Eh? And this is only royalty
Not taxes.
Joseph Biden is talking about. This gentleman is not talking about taxes. Not a single word he didn't talk about that. Because the oil companies have to pay their sheer share of taxes.
Of course, all over the world.
As for Guyana, we can get there. Guyana, what would you say? Guyana, who has the best oil on earth,
Sweetest, lightest good.
and getting less than 2% royalty. Man, you don't hear me, sir. Man.
Clowns.
We getting less than 2% royalty. And your leaders saying that is not robbery. That is not robbing the Guyanese citizens. These corrupt clowns we have as bleeders for leaders telling us that. Yeah. Let me give you guys a reminder in case you forgot. Raphael Trotman is the man who signed that 2% contract. He got a degree in contract negotiations from Harvard University in America, uncle and auntie. One of the best in the world.
Ivy League.
Man, but in all fairness, he said he was instructed and directed to sign it, but never say who. Who direct him or instruct him? I wonder, auntie and uncle, after all that is coming out on a daily basis from experts around the world, if he will join the protests when we hit the road. What you say, why? You will join?
Do you see?
It's only fair. that if you messed up something, that you would leave the nation and its people far worse than they were before with your actions, then you should be on the front lines of the fight to correct what you put the country in. Not true, man?
Yes.
Huh?
To show you're sincere.
Yes.
Indeed.
To show you're sincere.
Integrity.
Well, when we begin this protest, I would want to see him there.
And
Yes.
If he's not doing, he's lying.
Yes. Then we will know if you're a man of integrity or if you're one of the politicians who does get rich overnight.
Sell out. Like the African.
Auntie, Mr. Joe Biden said he doesn't want to waste any time. He has an aggressive plan to overall to reform the American oil and gas industry, to change the way they operate in that country, starting with the increase of the royalties paid by ExxonMobil and the other oil companies. You heard that, guys? The man said he don't want to waste time. He's beginning it right now. The man has an aggressive plan that he's ready to pursue. This new move is so important to the US president that Mr. Biden made an executive order directing his government to immediately conduct a review of the federal oil and gas leases and permit practices.
Do you think President Ali gonna do the same thing?
Man, let me go back to peace. Like, you don't get what I said there, buddy. This thing is so important to Joseph Biden that the man made an executive order. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Directing the government to immediately conduct a review of the oil and gas leases and permits practices. You hear me, man? You asked the question just now. What would Mr. Ali do?
President Ali, would he do the same thing?
Man, I don't know if Mr. Ali is awake or if he's sleeping.
He's sleeping in a deep.
You know what that means, uncle, what I just said there? The man wants to see all the details. He wants to see if all the terms and conditions in these permits, license and leases that they are giving out to the oil companies are benefiting the people and not just the oil companies. You hear me?
The man sounds like the President of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, yes.
Or he must
What's
be-
going on in Guyana? May I ask? Permits, license and leases is giving out Wild West.
Can he?
One president say he didn't even read the documents, but sign away 12 blocks. Like I said, leases, license and permits are being granted to foreigners left, right and center all across Guyana. In some cases, the people just go ahead and start working, Bernard. Start building without any permits or leases or license.
25 hours and it's happening here.
Yes. All over this country they're doing it, man. This country like it become a free-for-all for
The
foreigners.
Wild West, yeah.
Look at ExxonMobil. It's the exact thing them doing to Guyana right now with this Ford project called Yellowtail. No leases, no license, no permits, but ExxonMobil steaming ahead, handing out multi-billion-dollar US dollar contract without our permission. And of course, uncle, we have to pay every cent. The contracts to buy the ship and put in the underwater equipment for the Ford project already signed and sealed, sent out already. The people don't get a contract already.
We ain't buying the ship though. You're gonna pay for it.
Wait, no man. It's like you don't get nothing. But it's like sometimes I ask, who these wealth belong to in this land?
We pay for the ship, but we still don't own it.
Our leaders allowing these things to happen. Our leaders allowing these things to happen, uncle and auntie.
Wake up, wake up.
And you need to wake up.
Definitely, sir.
You guys need to wake up. You guys sleeping too much. You think ExxonMobil could have do that with Joseph Biden? Huh? But that is what they have been doing to us. Yes. They already did it to the coalition and the PPP with Lisa 1, 2 and 3, which is Payara. We are still to check, verify, and audit those inflated bills. And while time running out on us
Less than a year.
to check those bills, Uncle and Auntie, Exxon them running ahead with the fourth project, spending more billions to throw in we face. Yes, like animals. Take that, you filthy animal, and pay it.
Are we disappointed we can't
And you have a leader, the man who running the system, telling you, I am disappointed that we can't find people to check money.
And the next day he said, yeah, you don't qualify to audit it. And the next what he said,
Wow. Give them permits, man. Give them license and leases. Drill, baby, drill. Pump, baby, pump. Pump like I never pumped before. My gosh. When you remember these people, they report, Uncle, that Joseph Biden ordered into how the oil companies operating in America found that modernizing the sector had been put off for too long to the detriment of the American people, to the detriment of their lands, their waters, their environment, their wildlife, and so much more. You hear that?
yes.
That's what the people found. You understand? It has put off for too long to the detriment of America. That report that Biden ordered stated that the way the oil companies were doing business falls short of serving the public's best interests. And it does not provide sufficient opportunities for public input. And that resulted in shortchanging the American. Basically, the way the oil company doing business there, Uncle, they were shafting America.
This American oil company
And if they can do it
to their own people.
to their own people, man, you tell me what they will do to me and you, brown, black, and yellow, and purple people. That already, living at the edge of the Kaieteur Falls. Yes. They don't have to kick you far, man. Just touch you with a little finger and you're gone for Jana. And if you do survive, if a miracle happens, you're going to be swimming just like the hundreds of millions of Africans and Asians in extreme poverty. That same report that I'm talking about, Uncle and Auntie, found out that what the oil company was giving the country and its people was nothing compared to what the country has to spend to fix the issues they created with the environment. You hear that? Man, I love this report, man. The people realized that the money they're receiving from the oil companies can never fix back the damages they're doing to the environment alone in America.
With all the technology.
The report said basically the American people were being shafted 2 times. Uncle and Auntie, if Exxon and the others doing this to their own people, their own country, what you think them already doing to me and you out there?
Yes, whole country.
Huh? You're right. An S whole country. Yes, which one the president used that? Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Yes.
He was right in the one thing.
Yes, he was perfect when he said
Of
that.
course. That's why they're treating us.
They are already doing that out there to us, uncle, with the flaring. Paying us $45 a ton for burning all the natural gas. And Jack Dave and Harmon comfortable with that. You know, Bernard, many of you people, uncle and auntie, do not understand what that means. Let me put it in a nutshell. That $45 they pay in Guyana, what it means, what it's equivalent to. It's equivalent to your neighbor dumping his garbage in your mouth and pay $45 a day to do that. You don't understand what I said there. That $45 Exxon is paying Guyana per ton, uncle and auntie, is equivalent to your neighbor dumping them garbage in your mouth every day. And paying you $45. Instead of paying Savons or Puran Brothers $3,000 a day to come pick up the garbage. That is what Jack Dave them allowing ExxonMobil to do in our mouths every day with $45 a ton. That is what these clowns agreed to. Burn the gas in the air, messing up Guyana, messing up the entire world.
We got breathing.
And we living with that, breathing it. Some, don't be surprised. I hear one or two people, they in the hospital with cancer. I'm not certain.
It's going to go up.
Wait and see, it will raise. That constant day and night flaring is one of the reasons why the flooding has increased so much in Guyana over the last 3 years, uncle. Soon we will have to go back to the entire, we will have to do back the entire seawalls to save us, to save Guyana. $45 US, $45 US a metric ton. What Jack Dave and Harmon settled for? I don't know if they're going to ever buy a truckload of sand, much as a load of them boulder.
$9,000 can buy half a load of sand.
Yeah, Lord, this is the kind of leaders we have here, man. You know, when you think about these chaps, you know, it's like you really want to know what school these people been to. You know?
Harvard.
No, man. Harvard?
Harvard.
Let me go back to Biden, please.
Yeah,
Please. He had a beautiful campaign slogan. Build back better for America. Guyana got a constant policy by both parties. Broke up and done quick. Pump, baby, pump. Drill, baby, drill. Drill like you never drilled before, or pump like you never pumped before.
Take out like Kaieteur for 2 days ago now.
You know, Bernard, we at the Kaieteur News have been constantly reporting on how these foreigners coming in our country are given leases, license and permits, then move into our lucrative lands and waters, do whatever they want, endanger our brothers and sisters and their communities without even telling them a word, treating them like second-class citizens on their own land, leaving them helpless. Y'all hear carefully what the report that Joe Biden ordered had to say. The way in which the oil sector is managed and run. It completely ignored the people and their complaints and leaves entire communities without important conversations about how they want their public lands and waters to be managed.
Yes.
It's the same thing happening here. Just today, only today, on the front page of Kaieteur News, were no other than the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, an MP named Lennox Schumann, complaining bitterly about how the residents in Marudi are being treated and ignored as foreigners and foreign companies invade their rich mining lands, leaving them in the dark. Today only that happened.
He's finally waking up.
No, well, he only responded to a story we have been carrying for the last couple of days.
Yes.
All the MPs, they only respond to the Kaieteur News and the other media houses. They come up with nothing for themselves. They think nothing for the people who voted them there.
They forgot who voted them.
No, that's not their concern.
Because
Their concern is about what they can get for
from
themselves.
the foreigners.
For themselves. Only at election time, you see these politicians go around all over the country begging them for votes. Mhm. Yeah, man, that's what they do. This is what these people do. You know, can I have some water, please? Can I have some water? I need some water. Thank you.
PSA is not a PSA that the PPP would have supported or given approval. We have commented publicly under the circumstances in which that PSA was hurriedly signed. Truckman was advised not to sign it. He got Exxon partly drafted the PSA. They handed it to him, and he was advised not to sign it, and he did sign it. And then the global witness said, when he was questioned by global witness in some newspapers, he said he was told to sign it. He has not mentioned who told him to sign it up to today. But the contract has several features that he would wish to change. Now, we have made it clear that because we don't want litigation, and that because there is in such an environment some sanctity of contracts, that we are not renegotiating the PSA for the Scarborough block.
All right, guys, sorry about that. My throat went dry. It's a lot, this thing takes a lot out of you.
It does.
But I just wanted 2 minutes more to finish the story with the best and sweetest part of it. Yeah. Is when Joe Biden wake up and say, this thing ain't right at all. All these years the US was getting one of the highest royalty rates in the world. Man, like I said, these guys were getting 12.5% to 19% and never complain. All of a sudden, them realize that 19% royalty isn't enough for their wealth, and that they deserve more. Man, Joshua,
Yes, sir.
if them deserve more than 19%, what about we 2%?
Exactly. Junkie.
Huh?
Junkie.
I only hope you all sleep here for me, uncle. I remember telling you, just relax. Throwback. We are going to New York. We're going to chat with Joe Biden. Well, if Joe Biden getting as much as 19% with all taxes, Guyana 2% and no taxes whatsoever. Man, please, tell me something. Y'all got to tell me something here, man.
Exactly.
All the whole world getting 12.5 and up. We get 2% and down.
What are we, junkies?
Oh gosh, no. Are we human beings?
I just about to argue.
Huh? Or are we slaves?
I think we're junkies.
Or monkeys? Yeah, man. I did a program a while back. in which I told you people how the Queen set royalty rates
Yes.
way back in the early 19th century. And that has not changed after 100 years. Yes, my friend, my body, my think alike, finally joined me and said, no, this can't work anymore. We have to change it. The Biden documents say the royalty rates has been long outdated and hasn't been raised in over 100 years since the 1920s. So now Uncle Adati, he's instructing and directing his administration to increase the royalty rates. Yeah, man, right across the spectrum. On ExxonMobil and every other oil companies in the US. Maybe he's going to put it to 50%. I am not certain. Guyana getting 50 profit sharing. Well, Guyana getting less than 2% royalty. I told you guys the word of sharing, not profit sharing. Don't even talk about a word. But I want to believe that Mr. Joe Biden will seek 50% royalty.
It belongs to the people. of course.
I wonder which morning President Ali and opposition leader Harman will wake up and say to Exxon, enough is enough.
You're dreaming.
Is when Vice President wearing the sector will really put on a pants and be like a man like Biden and stamp his feet to Exxon and say, make Guyana share right. Huh?
Be a man.
When that will happen? And if he or any one of them doesn't stamp their feet, how about me and you get out into the streets with our feet on the ground
Yes.
and show them that the power,
Belongs to the
yes, the power belongs to me and you as one people, one nation with one single destiny.
Yes. Speak it, man.
Yeah, man. We got to do that. And we got to do that by getting them to change all the foreign contracts immediately.
All. Every single.
Every single one of them. That story, Uncle, shows the difference between first world leaders and third world bleeders. You know, I always, since I learned of this man, Patrice Lumumba, I just love to listen to him. He's a professor, an African professor, and a lawyer. If you guys can Google him and listen to him, he's one of my favorite people to listen to. He can really be a leader of the non-white world. 3 weeks ago, he gave a talk in Kenya and told the audience that Africa is yet to produce a smartphone, although every piece of the component for that phone comes out of Africa.
Right here.
The man said the COVID vaccine, the entire Africa is taking, was made out of Africa. The vaccine where the whole Africa tech was made out of Africa. He said even to the building he was speaking from was built by the Chinese, and he knows that because of the writing that is outside on the said building. The professor said Africa has so much and has had so much, yet they haven't built anything that they can be proud of. He said everything foreigner came and took and continue to take what they want and how they want from Africa. And where is Africa today? Is in the doldrums. Third world leaders, the man said. All they care about is their pockets, their friends and their families. They will settle for even the crumbs the white man throw at them. Simply because they don't understand, Bernard, simply because they don't understand, Bernard, their value, buddy. They don't understand. They haven't a clue of what Guyana really value, what the people of this country have.
And deserves to.
Had they understand, had they had a clue, every citizen of this country should have been chipping down the road with the pockets full of cash. You know the song? A chipping down the road with me own woman. Me own woman. You know the song, Josh?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, man. That's a beautiful song. Yeah. But who you chipping down with? You're chipping down with a plastic bag in your hand. A plastic bag in your hand that you just get snatched. That is get snatched with tennis roll bag inside.
Before you reach your camp.
Biden will increase his royalty rate from 18.75% to 50%. And Guyana will still be defending that 2% royalty treatment sign. You gotta love this country.
Less than 2. Less than.
You gotta love this country. Despite the contract has a clause that speaks of renegotiation, if both parties agree. To date, instead of our leaders asking for that contract to be renegotiated, them a defend the people contract.
Yep.
None other than Jagdo, the man who's heading the oil sector, is saying we have to honor the sanctity of contract. Could you play that video again, Ron? Play it. Guys, please listen to this video. You gotta hear this video, man. Play it.
The PSA is not a PSA that the PPP would have supported or given approval. We have commented publicly under the circumstances in which that PSA was hurriedly signed. Troutman was advised not to sign it. He got Exxon partly drafted the PSA. They handed it to him, and he was advised not to sign it, and he did sign it. And then the global witness said, when he was questioned by global witness in some newspapers, he said he was told to sign it. He has not mentioned who told him to sign it up to today. But the contract has several features that he would wish to change. Now, we have made it clear that because we don't want litigation, and that because there is in such an environment some sanctity of contracts, that we are not renegotiating the PSA for the Scarborough block. But when Exxon comes along for a PSA for Kaieteur and Kanji blocks that they are operators for, then they will have an entirely different PSA, a model PSA that we're working on now that will correct the deficiencies of the PSA that the Scarborough block had.
Wow.
Man, when you listen to this man, you know, you don't get upset. Something got to be done to this country.
I agree.
You know, not even the oil crooks who give us this one-sided contract is defending it. I mean Exxon.
Of course, they're
Not even them defending this contract.
They cannot.
Huh? Jagdeo said the PSA is not a PSA that the PPP would have supported. Uncle and Auntie, the PSA is the contract he's talking about.
Exactly.
Or given approval. He said you would never give approval. We have commented, the man said we have commented publicly under the circumstances in which the contract was hurriedly signed. You hear what he said? It was hurriedly signed.
So why are you going to change it?
Well, uncle, if something was hurriedly signed and you would not have signed it, what you have to do when you get in there, man?
Change it.
Correct, change it. Why are you defending it? Why are you fighting for it? to stay the way it is, knowing that it is the worst oil contract the world has ever seen. Wait, man. Bernard, let me ask back this question again. Is what these guys getting financially for keeping this thing as it is? May I ask this question again?
You have to. That's the easy
For the
question.
umpteenth times?
That is the question to ask.
What are you guys getting financially from these contracts that you guys not changing it, you guys defending it? Huh? Then you went on to say ExxonMobil draft the contract and give it to Trotman, and Trotman was advised not to sign it, and he did it. He keep emphasizing that Trotman was told to sign the contract, but Trotman never said who told him to sign the contract. Man, let me ask Al Guyana this. What that has to do with a contract that has already been signed?
Exactly.
Huh? It has been signed. So let us see how we can correct the document. Not true, man?
Yeah, definitely.
Right now we don't care. And none of us should care who tell him to sign it. He signed it on behalf of Guyana. And let us correct that.
You are representing Guyana now.
Guys, but that's the kind of political gimmick these clowns
Play with us.
just dance with and wants to confuse people with, rather than dealing with the substance of the matter, that 2% contract.
Disgraceful. Disgraceful.
Rather he work towards correcting that. He busy blaming each other. Jagdeo said clearly the contract has provisions, uncle, that can be changed, but he don't want no court story. Y'all think this man want to change anything?
No way.
Huh? All of us going to the gallows, and all of us going with starvation to the gallows with that contract. And that man who is heading the sector telling us he don't want no litigation, so you're going to leave it as it is. Now telling us that because he said there is, and these are his words, right? These are his words. I got to tell you all his words, man. Hear his words carefully, uncle. Because there is such an environment, some sanctity of contract, that we are not renegotiating the PSA of Starbrook Block. Man, let me read back the piece, man. I got to read this thing for you, man. Because there is such an environment, some sanctity of contract, that we are not responding to the PSA. We are not, we're not renegotiating the PSA of the Starbrook Block. Man, could you play the tape, man? Play the piece of tape. The little piece of tape,
Okay,
man.
how come sanctity of contract don't apply to
Wait, no, man. Wait, man. Let me hear. Guyana hear these people.
That because we don't want litigation, and that because there is in such an environment some sanctity of contracts, that we are not renegotiating the PSA for the Starbrook Block. But when Exxon comes along for a PSA for Kaieteur and Kanji blocks that they are operators for, then they will have an entirely different PSA, a model PSA that we're working on now that will correct the deficiencies of the PSA that the Starbrook Block had.
Let me read them back again so you understand. Because there is such an environment, some sanctity of contract that we are not renegotiating the PSA for the Starbrook Block. Some sanctity of contract, uncle. I got to explain this to you. The word sanctity comes from the Bible. It means a holy contract. a saintly contract, a sacred contract, a heavenly contract between God Almighty and Trotman. And that can't change. Don't laugh, please. It's not funny.
Not funny at all. For real.
It is very factual what I have just said. That is what Jack Day wants to tell us. We're living in ancient times. With a simple fracking oil contract cannot be changed because it is holy. A contract that benefits one side and one side only cannot be changed. Every single contract on earth can and has been changed. But this one, what Guyana has, seems like it can't change. Trinidad just changed their oil contract.
Indonesia changes.
Indonesia, many other oil countries. But Guyana contract was signed between God Almighty and Trotman. Jack Day doesn't know how to touch that. But it can be changed. Uncle and auntie, it can be changed. There is a clause that says that it can be changed once both parties agree. If you listen to him carefully and keenly, you would recognize that he is so tangled and confused by his own words that he wasn't even clear as to how he was using that term or word sanctity. You want me to play it back? Could you play it back for me? Just play it back. Listen how he's using the word sanctity.
That they because we don't want litigation, and that because there is in such an environment some sanctity of contracts, that we are not renegotiating the PSA for the Scarborough block. But when Exxon comes,
You can stop it there. Yes. Some sanctity of contract.
That's
So-
sanctity.
Yes.
Just sprinkle it in.
Yes. Yeah, maybe get some sprinkle. He sprinkled it.
Sanctity.
He said despite the PSA has provision to change, he's not going to change the ExxonMobil contract, but will prepare a new contract that will correct all the wrongs in ExxonMobil contract for the others.
Not for the biggest one.
Oh. Now you guys gotta tell me, why wouldn't Jack Day not want to fix all the wrongs in that 600 oil blocks given to ExxonMobil? That 600 oil blocks, uncle, is almost half of Guyana's oil. And this man that named Bharat Jagdeo and the rest of the leaders not correcting it, but have the nerve to tell us he will do better when ExxonMobil come for a contract with Kanji and Kaieteur oil blocks and the others. That Exxon contract on paper has 2% royalty for Guyana, but in actuality, Guyana is not getting that 2%. I don't even think we are getting 1%. Wow.
Wow, indeed.
Because there are lots of oil they take it out, and there you have to pay for transportation fees before they declare royalties. You know, Joe Biden is foreseeing the future of his people in America with his stance now with the oil companies demanding more than 19% royalty. You remember? Joe Biden foreseeing the future of his people with the oil companies. I am also foreseeing the future of this country with that 2% royalty. Can you guys foresee anything too? Huh?
Nothing.
Destruction.
Just like the royalty, I can't see anything.
I don't want to say much more. I want to go down into Mozambique, but I don't want to tell you guys anymore. I just want to tell you guys that I went in the advertising department of the Kaieteur News this afternoon, and I saw they put up a beautiful Christmas tree, and they had some money tucked in all over the Christmas tree. So when I asked them, what's that for? They said, boss, your money grew on our Christmas tree. So I emptied my pocket. I had $200,000. I emptied my pocket and put a whole $200,000 on the Christmas tree. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be double. If you guys know anybody who wants to double their money overnight, you could bring it to our Christmas tree tomorrow and put it in.
That's the best investment.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. And may God bless all of you. I have so much more to talk, but I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, and I'm not feeling too well this afternoon. I'm going to take some calls.
20 hours 36. You're listening to us on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is the radio with a difference, and you're listening to the Glenn Lall Show. 226-7453 and the 226-7454, 622-2222. Those are the numbers you can call us this evening on the Glenn Lall Show to air your views, or if you have any questions you may want Mr. Lall to address this evening, we will do it for you here on the Glenn Lall Show. Just remind you when you call us to lower the volume of the device you're calling us from. If not, we're forced to disconnect you this evening.
All right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Someone has a comment. They sent it in. They said administrations treat us like nothing and have us fending for ourselves when they have all the tools, countless opportunities to bring the country out of this stupor. But they use every tool and opportunity to give themselves and others special treatment. Citizens aren't asking for help. They're asking the administration and opposition to do their duty to all Guyanese and stop treating the country like a burner business. A business that grabs up quick cash and throws away, leaving everyone stranded. The president boasts of advantageous opportunities to foreign investors because no one else has a chance in this country except for foreigners and politicians. They're the ones that have everything to get and get easily. This is what the person has said.
I tend to agree
Me
much
too.
of what that individual
Same
said.
here.
But if locals are given a chance, we can come out smelling good, smelling like a rose. You know?
Yeah, that's true. Caller, we lost that caller. 226-7453 or 54 and 622-2222.
But the disdain they have for the citizens of this country, you know, it makes you want to. Yeah, because at the end, during election time, they run out there and they portray this race and this party and this color and take the calls.
Caller, good evening and welcome.
Hello?
Hi, good evening, welcome to the Glenn Lall Show.
Hi, what is the name?
Go ahead with your question, sir.
Yes. The question is not a comment to me.
That's fine.
Yes. Yes, there's not a comment to me.
Sir, please lower the volume of your device.
Yes, I got it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Lall's making a very good point here. And as he's saying, the only business I see going in Indiana right now is dog food. The dog food business is going a lot. I see a lot of people selling dog food on the streets. But it's so sad that this country is going to decline. And I hope that these people come together from all different political parties and races and see that we all have to come as one, because nobody is doing anything. Opposition harm on anyone. I saw harm on Randy George, 50% the other day. Why is it he didn't do that when he was in power? Right? And that was embarrassing, to this country, and the present administration also not doing anything. So we have to plan a protest and get out and come out as one Guyana to get something done. Or else we're going to suffer this country. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Night. Thanks for your contribution, man. We have to get out there. I agree with you. We have to get out there. And I hope when I call the protests, I see all Guyana out there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Oh boy, I had a call just now and it cut off.
226-7453 and 226-7454. 6 and all the twos this evening. That is how you can connect with us on the Glenn Lall Show.
Yes. I am so
While we wait.
taken up with all these. Please turn down your
Yes,
Josh.
please lower the volume of your radio or whatever device you're listening to us from when you call into the Glenn Lall Show. We have a caller here. If
Take
you
it,
Get
take
yours. Caller, good evening and welcome to the Glenn Lall Show. Good night to you.
To your studio. You are doing a very good job there. Because all the time we just punishing like slave in this country. We are slaves in this country, the president and the prime minister and all them. Them is the people that get in the hug of everything. And when election time they run to the people that, oh, I do this, I do that, we will do this, nothing I'm doing. So we would back in weed in the Cable River, close to Economic Island. Thank you, Mr. Glenn.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Yes. We have another caller there? Yes. Caller, good evening and welcome to the Glenn Lall Show. Good evening and welcome to you. Hello. Seems not ready for us this evening. Caller, good evening and welcome to the Glenn Lall Show.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening to you, sir.
Recently, Mr. Jordan was charged with misconduct in public office for some sale of the old GRB wharf, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's petty in connection with the oil deal that Trotman did. Why hasn't Trotman and the others around him been charged with the same thing? Misconduct in public office for giving away all our oil?
Hold on the line.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful question you asked there.
Okay.
Trotman committed no offense.
Okay.
He committed no offense. He signed on behalf of the government of Guyana.
Yeah.
However, I think what Jordan did, it was more of a chargeable act or offense.
But Mr. Jordan did something with the approval of Parliament.
No, you can't. It's not that you can't. Well, I'm not too versed with that. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't want to give my mouth to it.
Okay.
But once I think the oil contract was signed with the blessings of the president, and once President Granger sanctioned or approved these things, that's legal. That's legally binding.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But these lands and so no minister can wake up one day and sign over land here and land there, property here and property there to people. No, you can't do that.
Okay.
Right? Thanks.
All right then.
Thanks.
No problem. Good.
If you could have charged Trotman, man, I would have been the first man to bring private criminal charges against him for selling out for selling out 600 oil blocks. When the law of Guyana says Exxon only entitled to 60 on one license. You know, it's sickening. It's sickening. All these things should be challenged in the court. But you can't even get lawyers to challenge these things because the oil companies them suck up every single man. And who them is suck up? Them suck up with the political parties. You understand? And they're not going against their parties. So this is why you got to find lawyers from overseas to come here.
Exactly.
Who will suck up with the oil companies, suck up with their parties.
Political party.
Yeah. So you got to bring lawyers from overseas to fight it.
Good night to you, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Good night, good night to Mr. Lall. How are you, sir?
Turn your radio off, please. Turn your radio
Hello,
down.
Mr. Lall. Good evening.
Go ahead, sir. Good evening to you.
I'd like to put a contribution.
Go ahead.
The time when we start Hello? Hello?
Hi, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Lall.
Just cut him off and tell him to call back, man. Just cut him off and tell him to call back. Just tell him, guys, you gotta turn your radio down and you call in. We are hearing you loud and clear. Just get to the point and let's go on. You're live on the air, sir. Good evening.
Namaste to the future.
Turn on your radio, please. Turn your radio down.
Hey, turn on nothing.
And let's get going, sir.
Namaste, Mr. Lall, the future president of Guyana.
All right, let's get going.
Thank you so much at you and Kaieteur. I'm thinking something that all the companies and countries in this world that rob Guyana, if they're willing to pay back Guyana, let's say $1 trillion US, with this kind of bloodsuckers that we have for leaders, they will give away that money maybe in a year to some friends and cronies. Maybe do 10 contracts and give away the money for free. I'm saying this to say that unless the Guyanese people will wake up and decides to get rid of these people and for once and for all, both the PPP and the PNC, this country has nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. To renew the contract is excellent, and other contracts that we've been robbed from gold, diamond, bauxite, timber. But as long as these people is in office, it's never. Because if these two political parties was good for the past 50, 60 years, Guyana would have been one of the best countries in the world.
Exactly.
But with these people, this country can never, ever move ahead. We need honest people, truthful people, God-fearing people, people who is rich in their heart, not in their bank account. And I think you have that potential and you will get the support. I am so fed up with these people that administrating. I was listening to the president on 6 o'clock news and he was saying that Guyana will become the best country in this hemisphere because of the fourth project. And we will develop so much and all that. When you listen to these people and telling nonsense.
The Nancy story.
Chinese people. Yes, it's a good wake-up story, like when you have a dead and you just go talk Nancy story and wake-up story. I don't know if these people have no shame to tell people.
One second. I didn't hear the 6 o'clock news, but I didn't hear, and so I didn't know what he said. But the mere fact that he's pushing the fourth project, this is their agenda, right?
Yes.
And I've been making this thing so simple. You have Lisa 1, 2, and 3. You didn't even check $30 billion US, which is 15-year Guyana budget. You didn't check that money, and you go in and throw out another one. You got Lisa 1 running, and you can't handle the traffic in the city. You can't handle the congestion on Lisa 1. When Lisa 2 kick in and 3 kick in, it's total chaotic in this land. And you go and give a fourth one? Come on, man. Come on.
Something is wrong with these people.
No, they want to. No, they are so much in bed, sleeping with ExxonMobil, that Exxon is doing what I want to do with them. And that is being filtered onto the country with us as a people. And we have to show them that will not happen.
But I want the Guyanese people that must observe and take note that what is happening with Joe Biden and the Guyana government, they should be sensible and sensitive to know that Mr. Lall is the one should be credited for that, and Kaieteur. Believe me. Well, you're the man who is opening up the eyes of people and they should learn from this. And I'm telling you that what is happening in this country here for the past 50, 60 years, Guyanese people should throw it back at them and move forward. Move forward and choose good people, because this wouldn't stop. And I'm saying this because I am kind of fed up with this kind of nonsense going on since I'm born onto this age, when other countries of the world, countries have nothing in the Caribbean and they're so progressive. And to compare these people, I can only watch. The president was in Esquibo Coast. He see it well to open a hotel, no problem. After he went to a masjid, maybe for acts of forgiveness. But there is a project I want to make this point. A passport office opened in Anna Regina. And somebody said, you know the reason why they went and opened it? Always a government building? Because it was made by APNO and AFC. I said, what kind of story is this? So that is the game these two political parties playing. You know, this nasty, dirty politics that we are inherited and we are still experiencing for the past 56 years. It's time to get rid and get this thing off. Right?
They can't see beyond PPP and PNC.
Man,
they cannot see beyond that.
These two things that cause this country to be in the situation that we are in. And you know, I'm saying this because people feel that there are still good people in the PPP and the PNC. Well, we had AFC. They say is the best from the PPP and the PNC made the AFC. Well, I don't know if that is true, but I know AFC end up like, manly by Morna. If you want to sleep with your wife, you just got to ask the mother. If the mother tell them not this week, next year, well, you just got to listen to the mother. That is the way them end up.
Well, I want to agree with you on that because Raphael Trotman was a member of the AFC, and he's the one who signed the contract. But he said he was instructed and directed.
Yes.
So it's just like you're not an independent individual. You don't know right from wrong. You're just going along with what the leaders telling you to sign on to. Whether you're selling out your parents, your grandparents, your children or your grandchildren, you don't give a damn. You just listen to the political elites and just sign away and sign off.
The only thing these two political parties can do is to put blame on each other. They can do that with excellence. You know, blame on each other to distract the two major races in this country, so that come when that day is that, you know what, if you don't put in me, well, I might be doing a bad job, but you have the other side to deal with. And if you don't put in me, well, you have the other side to deal with. That is the game they're playing for the past 56 years.
56 years, yes. Yeah. Yeah, but the way technology is today and the way the world is heading, trust me, it has to change. And it will change. Trust me on that.
I know.
Trust me on that.
We can feel but something will happen, man. Something will definitely happen.
Yeah.
We can't be forever. Right? That there is a saying in the US politics that you can do as long as you want, as much as you want, but not how long as you want.
Yes.
You know, there's something like that.
Yeah, you can fool some of the people some of the time.
That is it.
All of the time.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, but better you take care of all the best. You continue good work.
God bless.
We
Thank you.
get fed up with this thing, man. It's time to bury these people in my life.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye. I made some valid contribution. Yeah. You see, these are people who understand what's playing out.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much certain he been around for quite some time. He have been watching, he have been seeing, he have been observing and noticing what the game of the PPP and the PNC.
Yeah.
And it's the same way. But why I told him things have to change. If you notice, the PPP, the PNC, and the AFC, they're all silent. You don't see these people, you don't hear from them.
They're not saying anything with oil.
Nothing. Not only oil, they're not saying anything. And when they do say, they look around, see if Kaieteur or Glen Lall around before they open them up.
And when they do say, we all like blow our heads wishing that they hadn't said anything.
Yes.
Because that's even more revealing, because many of them, they don't know what they're talking about.
All right, do we have any more calls? Yes, go ahead. Turn on the mic.
Yeah, Glenn. You know, Indonesia had the PSA, also the profit sharing, and they changed to a gross split method where they get as the production comes up, they take out their share on it. And Indonesia right now has the second highest in the world. It's at 81%. Of every 100 barrel comes up, Indonesia gets 81. And this is from Ristad. The same pro oil company Ristad gives that information. So Indonesia changed their PSA and got to 81% of gross split method. Right? So why aren't our leaders wanting the best guy. Why they say the culture cannot be changed? Of course it can be changed. But we have to ask our leaders, are they going to be like Joe Biden and demand a better share for the people of the country, or are they going to continue to be the lapdogs, the ExxonMobil? Right? What do you think they're going to be?
Well, I know that they will have to change it. Come tomorrow, they will have to change it. I don't care. I don't care what you guys say. They will have to change it, because if Joe Biden getting 18.75%, and he realized now that oil companies have been shortchanging them, and he has been getting all his taxes, and every other deal that come with an oil contract, sliding scale, bonuses, and all these things, and you telling me he finally decided that he got to get more for his oil in the ground. Man, what happened to us? What happened to us, uncle and auntie?
We don't need money.
I guess Joe Biden and his people have been listening
No,
to us.
we have to get up. We got to wake them up. And they will wake up.
Yes.
You see the silence they in? They will wake up.
Glad I think Joe Biden will listen to the program, you know.
Good evening. You're live on the air.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Lall. I would like to say everything that Jagdeo and Irfanali are doing is destructive to our country. They're not developing our country, they're destroying it and keeping our people poor and preventing our people from benefiting from our natural resources.
Correct.
They are betraying our people.
Definitely.
We need changes or else resign. Thank you.
I fully agree with you. I love you. Have a good night.
Good night.
I love that lady. Short and sweet, to the point. Bang. You get the work done. You satisfy the people. You give the people what belongs to them, or you get out. You get out. Everything you guys putting your hands on, man. Like we have a set of kleptomaniacs in this
That's
country.
exactly what they are.
You know?
Yes.
It's like kleptomaniac.
Yes.
Everything just snatch onto, man. Like if they never see things before.
Exactly.
What are they going to do with it, Glenn?
I don't know, man.
They hide it in the Bahamas,
I
the
don't know.
Cayman Islands, Austria.
I don't know, Joshua.
Yes, sir.
I don't know.
They
I
let
am-
them collect interest.
I am heading home, Joshua.
Okay.
Guys, I thank you for listening, and I just want you guys to enjoy the remainder of the evening. I talk so much about pressure tablet, but I gotta go and take one myself. Do have a good night, and God bless you guys, all right?
Good night.
The PSA is not a PSA that the PPP would have supported or given approval. We have commented publicly under the circumstances in which that PSA was hurriedly signed. Truckman was advised not to sign it. He got Exxon partly drafted the PSA. They handed it to him, and he was advised not to sign it, and he did sign it. And then the global witness said, when he was questioned by global witness in some newspapers, he said he was told to sign it. He has not mentioned who told him to sign it up to today. But the contract has several features that he would wish to change. Now, we have made it clear that because we don't want litigation, and that because there is in such an environment some sanctity of contracts, that we are not renegotiating the PSA for the Scarborough block. But when Exxon comes along for a PSA for Kaieteur and Kanji blocks that they are operators for, then they will have an entirely different PSA, a model PSA that we're working on now, that will correct the deficiencies of the PSA that the Scarborough block had. That because we don't want litigation, and that because there is in such an environment some sanctity of contracts, that we are not renegotiating the PSA for the Scarborough block. But when Exxon comes along for a PSA for Kaieteur and Kanji blocks that they're operators for, then they will have an entirely different PSA, a model PSA that we're working on now that will correct the deficiencies of the PSA that the Scarborough block had.